Good evening and welcome to another live streaming session live from beautiful Abruzzo in Italy. My name is David Benton, and together with my wife for the last, I can't remember how many years, but more than 15, we've been helping overseas buyers buy, restore and move to beautiful Italy, and in particular this incredible region of Abruzzo. How is everybody tonight? Don't these Tuesday nights come around quick? I can't believe that we're already on the 23rd of January. It seems 2 minutes ago since I was raising a glass for the new year and promising yet again I can't remember what number diet it is, but there you go. Unbelievable. How is everybody? If you're new to these sessions, then welcome. Where have you been? But welcome anyway. Let us know where you are in the world. Go into the chat box. I can see people are on from Facebook by the looks, and also from yes, YouTube's on as well. So yeah, let us know where you are in the world. Let us know that these chat boxes are working, because tonight it's Meet the Home Buyers. Everybody loves Meet the Home Buyers, but this one's Meet the Home Buyer, and it's a very special guest because I've been speaking about this guy for a long time, and people have said to me, who's PACENTRO Pete and why do you call him PACENTRO Pete? And this evening you're going to find out why, because PACENTRO Pete's on with us. So yeah, he's going to be telling us all about his amazing house in the incredible town of Pacentro in Abruzzo. He's going to let us know how he came about doing this. Susan, hello from Texas. Looking forward to starting our contracts for the home in Raiano. So am I. What a fantastic place you've got there. So good to hear from you, Susan. And Liam, I'm presuming he's maybe there. Okay, so yeah, that's tonight's live event is going to be with PACENTRO Pete, going to tell us his story, and he's also going to explain to us why he happens to be in Montenegro tonight. So it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be all good. Anyway, let's get on with a few I've got a few things to tell you. Let me get my other screen up. Tony's in the background again, putting comments up as usual. So yeah, just keep them coming. Let us know where you are in the world. Let us know if it's freezing out there, because I've seen loads of pictures. People are sending me pictures, which I do really appreciate, actually. I do like getting a few pictures from all around the world. So if you do fancy dropping me an email, info@homeinitaly.com, just take a photograph outside of your window or wherever you are, because a few people have done that recently, and I actually quite like that. It cheers my day up. So if you fancy doing that, and you fancy cheering me up, then send me a few photographs. Always appreciative. Okay, so the tours. We start the tour. We've got the January tour this week. Can't believe it. It's finally here. So I meet the group tomorrow. Then we're off Thursday and Friday to look around some fantastic areas and some fantastic houses as well. So I will be doing some live streaming sessions while we're out and about with the group. So look out for those. They will just pop up at different times during the day. They will pop up sort of throughout the next couple of days. Brad saying hello from Austin, Texas. Closer and closer to finding our new home in Abruzzo. Looking forward to tonight's live stream and finally meeting PACENTRO Pete. PACENTRO Pete's got fans. He's got loads of fans. I can actually see him on his little screen. He's got a smile on his face. So he's really happy about that. He is going to be famous. Patrick is saying, I'm in PACENTRO right now. Fantastic town. Well, there you go. It's just a shame, Patrick. Oh, yeah, we're meeting out with soon. How come you jump in the gun, Patrick? I was going to take you there as well on Thursday. So yeah, PACENTRO Pete unfortunately is in Montenegro, so he can't meet you at the moment, but there you go. Anyway, so yeah, the tours are starting this week, so look out on YouTube and Facebook. Please on YouTube, if you don't mind, click the subscribe button and click that bell button. I never knew what that bell button was until my son explained to me that if people don't click the bell, that's the notification bell, then you won't necessarily get updates for when we put new things on the website and, sorry, on the channel. And very soon we're going to be putting sneaky little properties through the week, because I've got quite a few to be filming and putting out there. And yeah, so we're going to be putting a few sneaky properties, not just Saturday properties, but we're also going to be putting through a few midweek. Tony's telling me to look at this. Ordered our Codice Fiscal online from Vancouver and had the certificates back the next day. Fantastic. Brilliant stuff. I know not all of the consulates around the world are very, what's the word, proactive about getting these done, but fantastic. That's great news. And hi, Roger. Roger is an ex-tour man. Yeah, so what was I saying? So yeah, click the notification button. Please click the button, click on subscribe, because that's really important. And then once we start doing these little midweek specials, I'm not going to tell anybody about, we're just going to put them on every now and then. At least you'll get a notification tell you when they're coming on. And I think I mentioned to the other day, or last week, I was going to show it, but it's all boxed up. I do use the YouTube funds wisely for you guys, because I appreciate all the support you give. And I have bought myself a what's the word? A 360 camera. So me and Tony tried it out the other day, which was quite funny, because we were driving around the historical centre of Popoli, which is a new place that we're going to be dealing quite a lot in, because we've got a fantastic contact there as well as Domenico that's in that area. And yeah, we've got this. I bought this 3-meter long selfie stick. So if ever you're in Abruzzo and you see a white, I'm not going to tell you my car details, but if you see a white car with a 3-meter long selfie stick and a 360 cam at the end of it, then that might just be us. So we've been trying this out. Absolutely unbelievable. It was freezing cold, and we got this thing hanging out of the car, but the footage looks fantastic. So we are spending YouTube funds wisely. So thank you for all the support. If you can keep liking, keep subscribing, we're going to try and do as much extra info like town visits and all things like we keep saying we're going to do that. We just could do with another 4 hours, 5 hours in each day, just so I can then sort sleeping out outside of the normal 24 hours. But we are getting on with it. Okay, so other things to tell you. What's the next thing? Next week's webinar, that is 30th of January, foreign currency, with our special guest, David Nixon. We all like David, don't we, from Currencies Direct? So he's going to be coming in and telling us the best way to get the most out of your money when it comes to changing from whatever currency you're in now to euros. So that's going to be a fantastic one. Make sure you join us on that one. I know we've done it a few times, but it is an important one. It's one that some people overlook, but believe me, you can save thousands when you're dealing with these people. So that's a great one next week. And then we're going to be talking about February stuff, which is just unbelievable that we're getting into February. But we're going to be having the Grim Reaper himself, Gianluigi, our accountant. He's going to be coming along and telling us a little bit about taxes that need to be paid when you're in Italy. And I think it's the first Tuesday of February, but I will confirm it next week. I'm not going to be here, so we're actually going to push it back to Thursday, which is what we used to be. So it's all going to get all confusing again. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be here. I think it's the first Tuesday. I'll let you know next week, and I'll put the new timetable out, that kind of thing. But we've got, as I say, we've got the Grim Reaper. We've got Lewis is saying, look, it's Lewis, everybody. Lewis is going to be coming on soon as well, and telling us all about, I'll tell you that in a second. So yeah, the Grim Reaper is going to be coming, doing some accountant stuff, some tax affairs. We're also going to be having Meet the Homebuyers as usual. And then a couple of new webinars, or at least one new live stream. I'm just trying to wrap my brain. So if any of you, we're doing another My Abruzzo one. They're always really popular and fantastic, where I tell you all about this area. And then I'm going to do a new one as well. Okay, so what was I saying about Lewis, who's now disappeared off the screen? Lewis is the one to contact. Obviously, contact us and we'll pass you on to Lewis. Not because we get anything out of it. We don't at all. Lewis and his fantastic wife are supporting this channel, which is really, really appreciated. And they have some great rental properties around the Sulmona and Palombaro area. So basically, if you contact us at the info@ahomeiniitaly.com, give us your telephone number if you can, your mobile number, especially if you've got WhatsApp on it, because he tends to use WhatsApp a lot. And that way, then he will get straight in touch with you. I noticed Ron, who's buying a property very soon, mentioned that he's been in touch with Lewis as well. And yeah, it's a great contact to have. So if you're looking for long-term or short-term rentals, because I know it can be difficult sometimes finding these. is going to give you the best price, and I'm sure about that. So yeah, get in touch if you're thinking about a holiday in Abruzzo at some point this year, or even if you're considering getting your visa applications put in and you need somewhere for a 12-month rental. Is doing that kind of thing as well, which is fantastic. If somebody doesn't want to buy a house yet, maybe they just want to rent. So get in touch about that, and we'll obviously pass your details on to Lewis. That's a little bit of a what's the word? Bit of a promotion there. I know he'll be watching, so I have to behave myself. Last thing. Oh yes, this is a quick one. I want to share my screen for this one. So this is where absolutely everything goes wrong, because lots of people have told me when they go onto the channel, they don't know which properties are for sale and not for sale and all the rest of it. Because obviously, when we upload to YouTube, we tend to it just uploads and it just stays there. But there are playlists on there, and people have been saying to me, what a playlist? How do I know which ones are available, which ones are sold? Obviously, on the website, we try and keep that updated as much as possible. Nobody can laugh now because it is up to date, even though I've got some new ones to put on as well. But if you, let me see if I can do this. Okay, here we go. So this is our YouTube channel. Did Lewis just write a clever remark then, Tony? Was he saying no? Was it? Oh no. Oh well, there you go. Oh, he's been nice. He is a really nice person. I'm only joking. We've gone past that sort of business relationship now, so this is quite a nice message from him. Anyway, well, where were I? So onto the channel. So if you go onto our YouTube channel, as you're seeing it now, I know it's not very big. Let me see if I can make it. Can I make this any bigger by doing? No, that certainly doesn't do it. There you go. It's a little bit bigger. What you need to do is go on to, once I find, why is the arrow not there? Help me, Tom. What am I doing? Oh, here we go. Here's the arrow. Okay, so here you can see playlists. If you click on playlists, and then here you've got sold properties and available properties. So if you click then on the available properties, and they will, I knew it'd start playing an advert. Anyway, I've done something wrong there, but it does come up, believe me. Why can't I get rid of that now? Anyway, let me get rid of that. I'm doing some free advertising for somebody there. Skip. Okay, well, that went well, didn't it? Anyway, go to playlist. Let me get rid of that now, because all I can see now is that playing an advert. Okay, perfect. Now all I can see is Tony. That's a bit off-putting. Anyway, so yes, if you go onto the channel, click on playlist, and then find the playlist that you're looking for. I'm just looking now because this is, for some reason, it's still playing here, and it will show you all the properties that are still available and the ones that are sold. So that's the easiest way to do it when it comes to YouTube. Breathe. Is that it? Is that all the oh yeah, tours. I mentioned the tours. May is now pretty much sold. There's one space left, but there is possibilities April and May that we're putting an extra couple of seats on, but I still need time to organize that. It's all to do with the coaches that we've got. Then let me know if we can have a bigger coach, which is what I've asked for. Then the dates for September, October and November are coming out in February. So get ready for those as well. Julie's saying, good evening, Dave and Tony. Do you ever have options to meet via appointment face-to-face to discuss what someone is looking for as opposed to online contact? Julie, I've got to be honest with you. Lots of people do ask me that. This is why I try and do these evenings and Q&A sessions. It is really, really difficult because we just haven't got the people. There's myself and my wife. Tony helps us with the doing these evenings and the producing, should I say that? Yeah, anyway, it sort of does that, but it doesn't work in the business. So it's so yeah, it's just really, really difficult to do it. I know it sounds terrible, and we do try and speak to people as often as we can, but we always say that you need to be out here. You just got to come out here, and even I'm sure Pete's going to tell you the same as well, because sometimes the lists go out the window, and people do send me emails saying, you know, we're thinking about this. This is what our wants are. This is what our don't wants are, if you can say it like that. And then at the end of the day, when people come out, everything changes. And it's just having the time that's the problem, because obviously you need at least an hour with each person, and we just it's just impossible, unfortunately. I wish we could, but we just haven't got that kind of time to be able to do that. But again, we offer these tours for people, and then obviously when you come out, we're more than happy to discuss your requirements on email and that kind of thing. And then the best thing is, once you're here, let us show you around. Let us show you different types of things within your budget. It is the best way to go, believe me. So I am sorry, Julie, but that is, I'd rather tell you the truth rather than say yes we can and then never get back to you. Okay, so where is he? We're getting ready for PACENTRO Pete. Let's bring him on and let's get ready for Meet the Home Buyer. Here he is.
All right.
Good evening, sir.
That looks like me.
It's Pete and it's live. How are you doing? Are you all right?
I'm doing awesome, yeah. Thank you.
Brilliant, brilliant. You've always got a huge smile on your face. You make me very happy when we see each other, which is not very often, but when we do, it's good to see somebody with a big smile. So let's let everybody. There is a little bit of a delay, just to let everybody know.
It's a good life.
Yeah, there is a slight delay between me talking and Pete responding, purely because of where he is, and sometimes his internet freezes a little bit. But just stick with us. We'll get through all of this. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Pete. Tell us about you, where you're from, and all that kind of thing.
Sure. I'm retired a couple years ago. Retired early after the COVID thing, and just that wasn't any fun. But spent most of my life in Florida. I noticed we have an awful lot of Florida folks that seem to be logging in. So I was grew up in the Daytona Beach, Ormond Beach area. Joined the military. Spent 10 years in the military, just kind of bouncing all around the globe, and then worked for the government for a while, for the U.S. Forest Service and Park Service. But I've been coming to Italy pretty much every year for about the last 20-25 years. And so I knew that when I retired, I really wanted to try to find a way to get here, to full time. Kind of ended up sold everything back in the States and just pulled the trigger. And and here we are.
And here you are. So why Italy then? Why what was the attraction with Italy? Have you always had this attraction with Italy, or is it something?
It has. It started, with all the traveling that I did while I was, in the military and work. For some reason, I remember that Florence, Italy, was just this thing that kind of popped up on my radar, and I said, I got to go there. I just that was the first trip that I made to Italy. Went to Florence, and then after that, I said, okay, well, there's a lot more to Italy than just that. Ended up coming. I've done everything from I rented a Vespa for a month. I put about almost 1,000 miles on that thing in a month. I had a ball. I rode the wheels off of it. But and I've come. I camped. I went and stayed in campgrounds for a month, just in a tent, and just kind of being just doing that kind of stuff to explore a little bit of Italy. Oddly enough, I had never made it down any farther south than La Marche, aside from Rome. But Abruzzo popped up on my radar screen when I saw the 7% flat tax. That really was kind of forced me to look around. I said, well, okay, let me look at Abruzzo. Is like the northernmost of kind of in that section, that sector, and then
you decided to come here. So was it always in your mind to move to Italy, or do you think it was just like a bit of a dream, or did you actually think, no, I'm definitely gonna? When was that time when you thought, no, I'm going?
I've been planning it pretty seriously for at least the last 10-15 years, and it looked like I could. As soon as I realized that it looked like it was a possibility, then I just turned the fires up and really made it, decided to make it happen.
And obviously you've done this all on your own. Some people, in fact, it was a couple of weeks ago, some people said they wanted to move to Italy, but they're on their own, they're single, they're on their own. They why don't we ever get anybody in? I mean, obviously you've done this, you've just come out here and that's it. Does it feel weird? I mean, we're going to talk about your story, but how is it all coming to? I don't know. How does it feel being here, sort of, and now you've made the move?
Yeah, it doesn't feel weird at all. I mean, I've lived alone for most of my life, And just doing it here, I mean, there's so much more to experience here in Italy that I never feel like I'm just sitting at home, doing nothing. So
yeah.
and having I'm having a ball, and it's really been fun. I've actually came from the U.S. And this woman was coming alone, all by herself, and just I don't know. She decided that she wanted to land in Pacentro, and she ended up buying a place. So she's kind of doing what I did, but like this.
Superb. It is freezing up a little bit, your camera, but I'm sure everybody can still hear you. So hopefully you can still hear us as well. So you've obviously done quite a lot in Italy and that kind of thing. But then once you started to home in on Abruzzo because of the 7%, what did you do? Did you arrange some property viewings? I know we met afterwards. I know you've been to Abruzzo before we met, but what happened there?
So I was in Lucca for 3 months at the beginning of 2023, and I was in a language course. And while I was there, I thought, okay, well, let me run down to Abruzzo. It's about a 5-hour drive, and so I made an appointment with a regular real estate agent after looking online and finding a bunch of places. This was before I discovered you, and so I made the appointment, came down here, and I had showed them maybe half a dozen places that I wanted to see, and of course get here and none of them were still available. So they showed me around some places, and I thought, okay, well, Abruzzo does look pretty neat, and went back to Lucca, did some more digging around, and that was when I came upon you. I don't know whether I found the website or the Facebook page or YouTube page first, but I ended up contacting you and made an appointment, same kind of thing. I think I picked out maybe 4 or 5 properties and said, hey, look, these are just this is an example of what I'm looking for, and as far as the house goes, and we made an appointment to meet up on I think it was on a Monday.
I remember at that time, sorry to interrupt, but I remember at that time you did seem really fixed on the house. You did, obviously the house that you ended up buying, that was pretty high up on your list, wasn't it? Right from the start, just from the photographs, because we hadn't done a video or anything of it. Was it just sort of we're going to show people your house shortly, and we're going to talk about Pacentro as well. But yeah, so what was it about that property that sort of got you hooked?
Well, it looked like a neat little house. I mean, I wasn't looking for anything big. Again, I live alone, so I didn't need 3 bathrooms and 6 bedrooms or anything. It had a terrace that looked out over the valley, and the valley is the valley in the Maiella National Park. So Pacentro, and we'll get to the details on Pacentro, but Pacentro is within the national park, and this house is on the very edge of town, and it looks out over this valley, and so it was interesting at the time. It was the house got my attention, and of course the big shocker for me was when I ended up looking around and going around with you and Domenico and his wife, that looked around some different properties, some different towns, and I realized that it was the town that was more important to me actually than the place. I mean, I think I came down there on a Thursday night. It was raining and cold, 5 o'clock at night, and I got to Pacentro, and I ran down to take a look at this house, so where it was. I wasn't going in to visit, but I went down and ended up walking around the town a little bit more in the cold rain, and that was like Thursday night. And it was either Friday morning or Saturday morning that I emailed you and said, well, we don't need to look around any place. Let's not waste our time on Monday. We can go out to lunch and just show me this place in Pacentro and and anything else you got in Pacentro.
It was one of the easiest sales I've ever done. I think the thing, I mean, I know when we spoke about when you said that you wanted to you were happy with everything and that was it. I mean, I I think I almost pushed you into viewing property because I just wanted you to see other things, just to be. But you just seemed so adamant, which is great. That no, this is the place. But it was for me. I always like to make sure are you 100%. But I think we see maybe 2 or 3 or something, and you said, "Yeah, great houses, but no, I want that one."
So I think you and Domenico showed me probably a half a dozen houses in different towns all around. And then, to your credit, and you must have thought, because I went home after that. I said, he probably thinks I'm some flighty American who fell in love with the first little town in Italy that he went to. I almost had to, I felt like I had to tell you, no. I've been all around Italy, and but yeah, you showed me, and that was when I realized, looking at those other houses and all, I realized that I'd be happy in any of these houses.
Yes.
They were all fine. But Pacentro as the town, that's what really surprised me.
So let's talk a little bit about Pacentro. I'm just showing people on a map now where Pacentro is, and let me just see if I can get my where is it? I should have done this before. Turn on the pen. That'll do. So obviously Sulmona is here, and Pacentro is here. So you are, as you say, in the national park, because all of this is national park. And then obviously you've got the beautiful Peligna Valley, which includes towns such as Sulmona, Introdacqua, all places that we mention all the time, Raiano, Corfino, Vittorito, Prezza, all of these places. They're all fantastic places, aren't they? But as you say, you just sort of fell in love with Pacentro. So looking, obviously people can see then on a map where that is. Let's just have a little look. I'm actually going to show a video of the town, but Pacentro is one of the most photographed towns or villages here, and I think what I like, I actually took this shot. I can't remember where I got this from, but and I added. This was the first thing that I used to have in the background when I used to do webinars. When I first started doing them, I had this printed off and put in the background. And I think what gets me with this photograph more than anything, or what strikes me with this photograph, because lots of people think these villages are in the middle of nowhere, because you see some of the photographs and you think, wow, that must be really remote up in the mountains. But it's only when you see this photograph that you actually realize, looking at all the lights and everywhere. Obviously, you've got Sulmona here. And then you've got places like Vittorito and Raiano that are all in this sort of area. How do you feel remote when you're there? How do you feel about these towns and villages that are in locations, not just Pacentro, but in general, some of the smaller towns and villages around this area?
Yeah, I don't, remote isn't the word that I would use, because, as you say, I'm only 5 miles away from Sulmona, and Sulmona has, what is it, maybe 10, 20,000 people.
Yes, 20,000
people. Yeah. And so, I mean, it has all of the, everything that you would want, as far as, there's a half a dozen major supermarkets. There's, places to buy, whatever, kitchen appliances. There's hair salons and laundromats and everything. But Pacentro, one of the things that, that really appealed to me about Pacentro is Pacentro isn't on the way to anywhere. You don't pass through Pacentro to get someplace. So it's not like we got a steady stream of cars and, that are passing through. I mean, if you end up in Pacentro, you were really trying to get there. But it's a tiny little hilltop village. They claim about 11 to 1,200 people, and what I'm seeing and what I've in talking with some of the other the full-time residents there, that's the majority of those are absentee owners, or they're part-time owners. Yeah. But even with that, we've got 2 excellent restaurants, and a third just opened. I haven't been yet. There's a small but well-stocked grocery store. We've got a butcher. We've got baker, pastry shop. There's everything that if the roads were cut off and I couldn't leave town, I could survive quite happily. With that.
And I think that this is important what you're saying, because lots of people, just while we're talking like this, I'm going to just play a little video. Hopefully this works. This is from one of our properties, so just to give people an idea what it's like while we're talking. But again, some people think that these villages and, like I said, remote, cut off, and the rest of it, as you said. But the services are there, aren't they? Yes, there may not be thousands of people living there, but they don't die off these places. These are they've got bars, they've got facilities, they've got lots of visitors, and they're just incredible places to live, aren't they? They're looked after. The council look after everything. How do you feel about all of that?
Yeah, on a Sunday, this is the main square, obviously, with the church to the right, and on the square there, Sunday before and after Mass, you'll see the square has got 50, 60 people just kind of lounging around, kids playing, dogs chasing each other, that kind of thing. When I told you that I came here, I arrived on a Thursday night, and the B&B that I stayed at, the guy, the host told me, well, here's one of the restaurants you could go to, right around the corner here, and it's really good. He says you won't need a reservation tonight, but for tomorrow you definitely want to make a reservation. And Friday night you want to make a reservation. And so I went there, and it was me and one other table that had people at it. And I was thinking, oh, okay, don't know how crowded this is going to be tomorrow, but I did make a reservation. Went there Friday night, and you couldn't hardly open the door for all the people that were in there. It was, and it was just like walking into, your friend's house. It was a great, great thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a well-visited town as well.
So, and the people are living,
Yeah, and I know certainly from sort of Easter onwards, it gets really busy, and in the summertime as well. It's just a beautiful place to be. And again, like all the other towns and villages around, that people think that they're one way, but it's only when you're here and witnessing it with your own eyes that you realize how these towns and villages do survive, and there's public transport and everything else. So this area here is just off the center, isn't it? Do you want to talk about this?
Yes, this is the other square. That's Piazza del Umberto Primo.
And it's beautiful walking through this gateway, and then you've got the tight streets, haven't you, up to the main square. I know that there is, I mean, obviously to get to your property as well, there is. I love the way these two guys are watching me, wondering what on earth I'm doing. But but there is sort of a.
That was the butcher.
Oh, was
it? By the way, you just passed by the butcher in the red apron. Yeah, that's a great guy.
But I mean, I know that there's a few steps to get to your house, but does that bother you?
No, not at all. There's two ways that you can get to my place. You can go down the street. It's a pedestrian only street, and it's not too steep or you also got the stairs, and it's a pretty good workout if you're going up the stairs, because it's about the equivalent. I measured it off, and about the equivalent of 12 flights of stairs if you were walking upstairs. But the road is really kind of a gentle climb, and no worries at all.
Excellent. And we have got just to let everybody know, we have got a beautiful apartment that is just on the square. I just thought I'd just get that in there. That's here as well. It is a town that we're going to be looking at. I think the difficult thing with some of these towns is that there is a few properties for sale, but some of them are really sorry, that's a message I wrote. Are really sort of tucked away and very little views and everything else. Obviously, yours is completely different in the sense of you've got lots of views and all the rest of it. So that's sometimes these towns in the back streets can be a little bit dark, but they're just fantastic to walk around, aren't they? They give you something else to life that I don't think other places can give you. Okay, so let me just,
absolutely. I mean, it's really something.
Sorry, Pete. I think with the delay, I'm cutting you off. But do you get the same thing? Just wandering around the villages is makes life a little different, a little special.
Oh yeah, and that's my morning and afternoon routine is is going out and walking around. I do the pass. You always see the butcher standing out in front of the butcher shop. There is or just down the road there at in front of the tobacco. And just everybody. I mean, I see the same group of folks when I go out. And then you mentioned about the people being out on the streets, and in Italy, there's, of course, the passeggiata, and that happens between probably what 6 o'clock and 7:30 in the evening, where just everybody just comes out. They bring the dogs, the kids, they all gather up in the squares and just have a great time. But I heard somebody, I just saw a message flash up about how do I get around, and that's the other cool thing. But Pacentro being kind of where it is and remote, that we've got 8 round trip buses to Sulmona every day, except for Sundays and holidays, of course. And but yeah, it's really convenient. I mean, it requires a little bit more planning. I don't have any vehicle, but I was thinking of getting maybe an electric bike, and and just kind of run around on that a little bit. But really, it's not. The buses are great. They drop me off right in front of the major supermarkets, and everything. Yeah, it works out really well.
Excellent. How long does it take, just out of interest, on the bus from Pacentro to Sulmona? Because in the car, it's not very long at all, is it? Drop down the hill, 10 minutes, you're there.
No, it might be 15 minutes.
Right.
It's direct from Pacentro right down to right down the hill to Sulmona, and then back again.
Excellent.
Stops right in front of the hospital and right in front of the the grocery stores, and right in that main center.
Superb. I mean, that's again the around that area, and a lot of the places that that we deal regular in, the public transport is pretty good. And then from Sulmona you can get on to wherever you like. You can get onto Rome, you can go to Pescara, to the beach, you can go wherever you want to go. Fantastic. Okay, so before we start talking about why you are where you are now, I do want to show people your house. So let's get I'll let you, Tony, if you could just knock the let me just knock the questions off for a minute, just so I can see these. Sorry about this. Let me find the ones. Here we go. Okay. So this is the very, very unique entrance to your place. And I can imagine now a few people.
That's the front door.
Yeah. I can imagine a few people saying,
"Oh, did I?"
Oh, I'm not sure what's happening. Tony, can you see me? I think we're coming back. Yeah, let's just see. Okay, Pete, we've got you back. No idea what happened then, but anyway, that's hopefully the gremlin's gone out of the way. I had a feeling something was going to happen because there's a few things that I can't. Anyway, right. So yeah, let's get this back on.
There we go.
Yeah. So this is do you want to tell us a little bit about this, because it is a really unique entrance.
It is really neat, and right here to the right, you see that open passageway that goes down. That's actually leading down to my cellar. But this, if you look closely by the door, you'll see what looks like a ceramic plaque. You can see it there a little bit. All of the all of the neighborhoods. Yeah, all the little streets and neighborhoods in Pacentro. They all have some kind of an identifier. They have something that distinguishes them. And I'm in the area called Fonte Vallone, which is the fountain that was the original fountain for the city. And so my plaque is a kind of a pictorial representation, if you will, of the fountain. And then so as you move around the town, you'll notice in your walkthrough, you'll see those they're different badges or coats of arms, if you will, for representing each of the neighborhoods.
Excellent. So we'll move inside. I'll let you describe it. I've not got loads of photographs, but I've got one of each room. They are a little bit blurred, some of these. I think Tony must have taken these. This is obviously this is obviously before you bought it. This is how it was sort of before. So I dare say you've done some changes. But do you want to talk people through everything?
Yeah, this is the kitchen. There's the front door, and in the back, this is looking back towards the front door. Got the fireplace, and actually the owner, when I looked at where this was and how difficult it would be to get furniture in and out of the place, I thought, well, maybe if I ask the owner, is he going to include the furniture with the sale of the house? Well, he included everything. I mean, he left you everything you see, those little those little things that the jars for sugar and coffee, and he left those, the pots and pans and dishes. So when I moved in, I didn't have to bring anything but a toothbrush really, but it was all ready to go.
There is some really nice things in there as well, isn't there? Some really really nice
Oh, it's
furniture
beautiful.
as well. So
Yeah.
okay, so moving on to the next room.
And this is the next room. As you're still walking through the house, this is a kind of the dining, I guess, the dining room kind of thing, lounge. And I'm keeping it just, like this. I've noticed that it seems common in Italy that people seem to just come and sit at the table, and that's where you visit. It's not like
Yes.
in the U.S. necessarily where you just kind of everybody sits on the couch or whatever visits. So yeah, I've just left it like this. Right to your right here are stairs going down one
Yep.
level to a bedroom, and then this is the main bedroom here on the street level, on that main level, and right behind the camera is the entrance to the terrace.
Yep. So we'll show. So just so people. So obviously this bedroom is just off when it's down there. I've just noticed myself actually there in the mirror with my shorts on. But this bedroom is sort of down and round this corner. So are you keeping that as a bedroom, or
Exactly.
are you staying as a bedroom? And these ceilings as well. I mean, people have probably noticed they're vaulted ceilings. Some beautiful features in the house, isn't there? So, and then we've got
it is, and it's
sorry. Okay,
no,
so
it's that the bathroom was on the right. This is the bedroom that was on the left that you saw, and then my favorite part of the place.
So from this room, then
the bathroom is right there to the right.
Yep, and you've got bathroom down here to the right. Then you've got these stairs to the right that go up to a bedroom, and then you've also got stairs here that go down to the bedroom. So you said you didn't want a big house, but it's still a 3-bedroom house, isn't it?
Yeah, 3-bedroom house and a huge, enormous cellar. This is the downstairs bedroom. Really neat.
I'm just going to say, Pete, just in case people are looking and thinking, what on earth? Because can you remember these sheets that were on the bed? These are obviously not your sheets, but down here, can you remember? You know what I'm going to say. But obviously, we've got vaulted ceilings. We've got this old stone floor. And I remember the first time I came to this house and took a photograph. And I never noticed until I got back. And then I thought, what on earth is this? And it looks like somebody has been playing a ghost at some point. Did he leave that? Did he leave that by any? Oh, sorry, I've lost.
Those were gone. The bedspreads were there, but the sheets were actually gone. So yeah, maybe the ghost took them with him.
It's such a shame because I think it was fantastic. It did make me laugh when I see that. So that's the downstairs bedroom, and then obviously it goes upstairs again, and again some beautiful flooring, all original flooring. Are these just sort of guest rooms, the upstairs and downstairs ones?
Yeah, I've been using the bedroom on the main level as mine, just so I don't necessarily have to go navigating stairs. At 2:00 in the morning. But this is beautiful, and that window that you're looking at, that's looking out over the valley, and then to your right is another door with a little Juliet balcony or whatever you call it. Well, you can see it in the reflection in the mirror.
Yes.
And it's again beautiful. Yeah.
And then this is when people are going to say, "Wow!" Is when we look at what you've got just off your bedroom. Fantastic views from this terrace. Do you spend a lot of time out here?
Yeah, this is pretty much where you can find me whenever it isn't raining or freezing cold. It's I pull up a chair and that's my I'm doing my reading or whatever right out there. Beautiful.
I just want to say that Lewis is just that was quite fun. So Lewis has now nicknamed you Paranormal Pete. So that's a new name. We've got PACENTRO Pete and Paranormal Pete. Brilliant. So what I will say, I'm going to show people, then we'll tell the story about this terrace because there is a little bit of a story to go with it. So this is obviously views looking back at the at PACENTRO, that you're down in the lower part of the town. I'll just show another couple of pictures from your terrace. That's obviously looking the opposite way. And I think that then just another view. I remember it must have been May time. The colors are just absolutely phenomenal around there. But again, when you look at photographs like this, people will look at it and say, oh, this must be way out of the way and there's nothing around it and they're remote and that's why properties are cheap and blah blah blah, and listening to all the things that sort of wind me up so much on Facebook. But they look at pictures like that and yes, it's incredible, but lots of people then do think, you know, the way they have. I know we've covered it and it's not like that. But going back to the terrace, that was obviously a huge selling point for you. And quite rightly so, because of the views that you get from it. And once we started collecting the documents, however, there was a little bit of a problem with the terrace, which we found out. Which again, the great thing about using the right people, I'm not talking about me, but I'm talking about the geometer as well that we use. But he suddenly found out that the terrace doesn't actually belong to the property. How did you feel when I rang you up that day? And I'm going to explain to people how these things work. But how did you feel that day when I made the phone call that I didn't want to make?
Well, it was the phone call I didn't want to receive. So yeah, I think I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't a little bit peeved about it. I mean, that was one of the huge selling points of the of the house for me. But we got to talking, we motored through it, and I thought, well, it's difficult to explain this to the crowd without actually seeing a whole lot of pictures. But the way that that terrace is, it is the roof of the house in front of me, part of the roof of the house in front of me, but there's no way that they can access it. And so I thought, well, at the very least, we kicked it around. We said, well, they're not going to be able to access it. So, it's probably not going to be an issue anytime soon. And since then, I've met the people who own, they're absentee owners. I've met the people who own, and they've told me that regardless of what they do to their property, even if they build access to it, I'm still welcome to use it at any time I want. And so it's not an issue. And really, when I walk around town, you showed us a lot of the places around town where, I think I told you at one point, I said, I like the town so much, I like the house so much that I can just consider the whole town to be my terrace.
Exactly. When you told me that, I thought, first of all, what a great attitude to have, because that is true. I mean, having outside space is fantastic. Of course it is. But life becomes more about that, doesn't it? It becomes more, as you said earlier, it's not always about the house. It's about the town. It's about the place. It's about the pleasures you get from that. And just so people understand these kind of things, that what we actually found out was that this balcony here is yours, isn't it? Everything to the right, if you like, is officially yours. However, we could have gone down another line, which I'm glad you didn't, because especially now, the fact that you're friendly with your neighbors and things like that. But this terrace has been accessed for many years by the owner of this property. Just didn't quite make the 20 years where you can actually claim it. And then the previous people for many years before that. And in these sorts of situations, as I explained to you, you can clearly see that it's actually part of your property. And this is where things, I remember having the conversation with my geometer, and the geometer said, sometimes it's not all about the documents, because if that actually went to court, if you decided to do that, he was convinced that it would be, because people would come and say, well, they've got no access to it. You've got access to it. It's clearly part of this house. I know you didn't want to go down that line and everything. And that's why, again, you need the right people working for you so you can understand all your choices. Luckily, you'd not committed to that property in full, but then but then you decided to go for it anyway, and it, you know, it has turned out well, hasn't it? Especially now you know the owners of the property.
Absolutely. It's perfect. And even if I didn't have access to that, it would still be, a fantastic property, and I'd still be thrilled.
Yeah, and the other thing to consider as well, again, that my geometer said, is nobody's allowed to go on there and invade your privacy anyway. But luckily it didn't get that to that stage, so it's all turned out as a happily ever after. Okay, so people have seen the properties. We know that you love the area. Obviously, it's where you want to be now, where you want to live. You're not there yet. I know you've gone through briefly the visa process, that you then need to get another appointment because I know you didn't have everything that they needed at the time. Where are you now, and what are you doing?
So even though this may look like a beautiful, home in Italy, and this is actually I'm in Montenegro, Perast, Montenegro. And so what I have to do the Schengen shuffle, where I'm allowed 90 days in the Schengen zone out of every 180. And so then I just have to travel outside of the Schengen area for 90 days. So Montenegro is outside of the Schengen zone. It's an absolutely beautiful country. It has, Perast, and Kotor is the other major city or major town that's on this bay. And the Bay of Kotor, I guess, absolutely stunning. I mean, to coin a phrase, and it just really, it's an amazing place. So it's kind of, as much as I love traveling, this is not really too much of a drain on me. I mean, it's kind of forcing me to do some traveling around. I'll spend 3 months in Montenegro, which honestly I had never even heard of before last year. Then in July I have to leave Italy again, and I'm glad I'm going to Japan for 3 months, and I'll visit that.
So you're doing, as you say, the Schengen shuffle. So you do your 3 months. So when are you actually going to apply for your visa to stay in Italy full time?
I want to wait until I've got like 2 years because they look at your income over the last couple of tax returns, and I just want to be able to show them stability in my income, and that's really the important thing. It's it's not so much an enormous amount of money that they're looking for. It's just that they want to see that it's kind of stable, and so it'll be 2 years, I think, before I'll apply.
Excellent. And you just got to keep traveling and doing. But I mean, I know we spoke a little bit earlier, and I would like for people to know. So obviously, some people that are considering doing this, you are doing the 3 months and 3 months, where some people may say, no, that's not for me. But just to give a sort of an idea to people, if they do this kind of lifestyle that you're doing now, so 3 months in your home in PACENTRO, 3 months then you're renting here, what would you say? You're from the States, you're from Florida, so let's compare 12 months living in Florida. I'm talking financially now, compared to 12 months living between PACENTRO for 3 months and then going to Japan. You're going to Japan for 3 months. I mean, are you going for the full 3 months to Japan?
I'm thinking I may hop over to Thailand for a couple weeks in there. I've never been there either, and so I don't want to commit to a full month or 2 months in Thailand, but I think I might duck over there for a couple of weeks.
So doing all of this, what you're
doing in Japan,
doing all of this, what you're doing, comparing that to 12 months living in the States. I'm not saying comparing it in terms of whether you like it or don't like it financially. Where would you say you're at? Similar prices, or would you say you're saving, or?
Oh, definitely saving. To give you an idea, I'm here in Montenegro for 3 months in Montenegro. My Airbnbs are going to cost me less than $2,000 for 3 months. and that includes your utilities. So I have to buy food, but buy groceries or go to restaurants. I'm going to be doing that anyways, regardless of where I live. I'm going to have to buy food. My your watchers who are from Florida will confirm that grocery prices in Florida are just obscene. At least the last time I was there, compared with here, I'm spending. I keep very good records on what I spend and all, and I spend half on
Really?
groceries
Is
between
that
Italy
when
or
you're in Italy as well? Would you say in Italy, or are you talking about Montenegro,
yeah.
or are you talking both? In Italy.
Nope. In Italy, my grocery and expenses are half what they would have been in the States, at least half. And I'm eating a lot. I'm eating great food. So what can I say? But yeah, that was that's the thing. Anybody who's in Florida again or anywhere in the U.S. really, I mean, what can you rent wherever you are for $800 a month? Including everything is to comment on insurance. And I know people who are paying just crazy amounts of money. And remember that in an Airbnb, I'm getting my utilities included in that. So if you added $200 a month to what I'm averaging for a place here in Kotor, for instance, or in Montenegro, what could you get in Florida or anywhere in the U.S. for $1,000 a month?
Yeah, it is unbelievable, the cost of living, the difference in cost of living. As you say, I mean, Montenegro is a little bit cheaper, certainly for rentals and that kind of thing. But as you say, Italy a lot of people think Italy is really, really expensive. And yes, if you go to Venice, you go to Milan, you go to all that, then it can be expensive. But living in the places where we live, I mean, eating out as well is just ridiculous, isn't it? And the quality of what you get, as well as being much, much cheaper, the quality is just completely different, isn't it? It's another level.
Yeah, and the restaurants in there in Pacentro, there's one that I go to all the time, and I never really ate out in restaurants that much in the U.S. because in Florida, the area I was in Florida, they were mostly all chain restaurants, and okay, you could get some acceptable food, but really nothing special. Whereas I go to the restaurant Maiella is my favorite there, and the owner Dennis and his wife, they greet you. It's like going to your friend's house, for dinner, and just good solid food and wonderful people. It's always like like you're going into just a great dinner party.
Brilliant. And that again, I mean, I say this to so many people, that is what the beauty of moving to these places is, isn't it? Yes, finding the right house is important, obviously, but that will happen once you're here and you've got the area that you love and the people and everything else. I don't know about you, but my life changed completely when we moved here, and it's a different world, isn't it? And that's what you can't get across to people until they actually come out here.
Yeah, something that surprised me, and I didn't realize it until I was well into this process, was for my whole life where I lived, where I bought, was determined by where I was working. And so now I'm retired, and it struck me that I can buy a place anywhere, and it's not like and so that that it took that away, and it made me look at the towns and locations in a different light, and
different way. Yeah,
Pacentro really shown there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you that, because I know lots of people that when they put holiday home buying similar to home buying, and as you say, they're thinking convenience and thinking, whereas if you've got to do there was somebody I was speaking to the other day, and they said that there's no way they wanted to be any more than half an hour away from the beach. And I remember saying to them, so if it was 40 minutes, are you going to be really upset? When you're driving, you're not rushing to get anywhere. You're not rushing to get to a meeting. You're driving in some of the most beautiful scenery in the world. Are you going to be really upset if it's another 10 minutes? If it's another 15 minutes? Does it really matter?
Yeah.
It gives you a different.
I've seen a couple questions. Yeah. I've seen a couple of questions come across. Snoring dog. Do I speak Italian? No, I'm certainly not fluently, but I'm picking it up. People go out of their way to understand you and to help out. I do use Google Translate for some of the unusual stuff, but I find that I generally end up asking the same kinds of questions, or making the same statements, and so you learn pretty quickly how to phrase a particular sentence, and the more you use them, the more exposure you get, the more you learn. And
Brilliant.
Someone asked earlier about how much did I pay for my house. I mean, I don't mind saying that it was listed on your site for, what was it, 69,000?
Yeah.
And I paid just slightly less than that, but it's fantastic. Just
superb, absolutely brilliant. Okay, Pete.
That was the question.
Yes, we're just seeing that pop up. So, well, finally, everybody gets to know who PACENTRO Pete is, and we're going to be hearing more from you as well as the months and years go past, because it's always good to get people coming back in, especially when you go for your visa and the rest of it. And that's going to be a great story. What can I say? I'm looking forward to seeing you again back in Italy. I know you're enjoying yourself over there, but I should imagine you're really looking forward to getting back to PACENTRO, back to your friends there. So thank you so much for giving up your time and coming on here. I really appreciate it.
Well, and thanks to you and Silvana, and that you both really made this pretty much pain free.
Brilliant.
Thanks again.
Thanks a lot, Pete. We'll see you really soon.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye. There you go, folks. It's PACENTRO Pete. We've met him finally. What a great guy. What a great guy. Pete, if you want to stay on, and I can see you in there, then I can say goodbye to you properly once we've finished. So yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. A great number in tonight, and thank you for sticking with us. Make sure you join in every Tuesday. We're back next Tuesday with David Nixon from Currencies Direct. That's going to be another great one. And yeah, I hope you enjoy these. If you've got any ideas of any future webinars that you would like, subjects that you'd like me to cover, then let me know. Let me know by email. I'm always interested to hear, because I want to keep you guys here all the time. These are really important that we keep these up every single week, and I'm happy doing them because of the great support that you guys give to us. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us again. We'll see you next Tuesday at the same time, 7 p.m. Like I said, we're here with David Nixon from Currencies Direct. That is one not to miss. See you soon. I'll be in touch this week. Remember, subscribe, click the notification bell, because there's going to be some updates on the tour while we're out round and about with the group. I will be putting a couple of videos on between Thursday and Friday. See you soon. Thanks, everybody.